Hi everyone, my name is Maria Loram and I make functional ceramics for interior design. In this video I wanted to show you around my home studio. I wanted to show you how I set it up, and also at the very end of the video I'm gonna tell you how much it cost. You will be surprised, it's a little bit less than you would expect. Let's get started. So here's the space. This is part of our apartment. Originally it was supposed to be a dining room. As you can see over there, there's a living room, and then right behind you there's a kitchen. So really there's no separation between work and life for me. Everything is right here in the center of my apartment. That's one of the reasons of why I need to clean up literally every single time I make anything. It's a little bit of a bummer for me because I do have to try really hard to push myself to make things, because I know that there's going to be a whole hour of cleaning afterwards. Otherwise, if I don't clean, then I'm gonna spread all of those bad clay particles around my whole apartment. In the very beginning, we set up this whole area as a chill zone. We placed chairs and kind of reading corners, reading nooks all over, but then at some point it just hit me that I wanted to make ceramics, so I got a pottery wheel off the Facebook marketplace for $100, and I placed it right in the center of this room. This whole room was covered in a plastic wrap so that everything is protected, so that the wooden floors stay intact. We sit right here in the middle of the room and try to make pottery for the first time ever. I got some really shitty groggy clay and it just did not work really well. Right now, as you can see, I got an upgrade. It's a much better pottery wheel, and instead of a gigantic plastic paper, I have this just like one really smart solution that my husband came up with. It's just a piece of a plastic that's really hard and it protects the area quite well, and I'm just trying to be very careful and not spread my clay all over. It doesn't work always, but I'm trying for sure. So that's a pottery wheel. This is where I make everything. I mostly will throw. Sometimes I hand build. If I hand build, then I'm gonna do it right there on the table. But we're gonna go back to this corner first, and you can see this beautiful shelves that were here to begin with, which I think I was super lucky about, because that was just like part of the architecture, and I think it's perfect for the potter and for the ceramic artist, because we always need as many shelves as possible, and those are the shelves that I'm using the most. As you can see, this is one of my leftover collection from December of my bud vases. There's really good examples of just like what kind of style I like, just a lot of texture and very spherical round pieces. There's also, I'm using it because I have a lot of space right now. I don't have that many pieces. I'm using this as a museum of glazes and test styles. Some of them actually got to a gallery, which is really cool. That one in particular. And then yeah, so that's a corner that I use for wool throwing. There's also a really beautiful window. This is my favorite window. This is where I take all the photos that you see out there on Instagram and everywhere else, just because of the beautiful light. For some reason, this light is perfect. So all I do, I set up the background, I set up my wabi-sabi textured stool right here, and this is where I take pictures. Right, and if we go that way, then we're gonna see even more shelving right here. So we're gonna see a lot of shelves, which is super convenient again for me, because I can use as many shelves as possible. This is the biggest problem of my studio right now. I do not have enough shelving, so I'm planning to expand and just like place shelves everywhere, as long as I can come up with how I'm gonna do it. But those shelves I'm using mostly for different materials, for the glazes that I mixed, for the aggregates, for materials I collected, wild clay, rocks, etc. So everything is in the containers right here. That's super convenient to grab and use it right here on the table where I make my ceramics as well. If you keep going and look over here, this is my collection of the glaze test styles. It's a taste style wall that all began just out of necessity, because I just couldn't store them anywhere else anymore, so I had to place them somewhere, and I placed them on the wall. Don't tell my landlord, although he kind of saw it and he wasn't very happy about the fact that I used the double tape to glue them onto the wall, and so you can see that whenever they fall off, they kind of take part of the wall with them. Bad advice, don't do it. maybe come up with some kind of a hole so that you can hang it on the wall. Otherwise, beautiful test tile wall. Those are some of my first test tiles. You'll see lots of lava glazes, lots of crawl glazes, some of the gloop glazes that I tested. I think it's just lots of fun to have it in front of you and look at it at any time that you like. And then as we continue, we can see that I have some pottery books right on the table right here, some leftover mess that I left from trying to analyze my new test tiles. And then also, if you go below the table, then you will see the slab roller that I got basically for free, but I'm gonna tell you more about it at the very end of the video when I reveal the total price for my whole studio. So that's a slab roller. Very bad place for it because every time I need to slab roll, I have to take it out. It's very heavy and then I have to roll. But given the situation and the limited amount of space, very good location, very compact. As we keep going, even more to the left, we're gonna come to some of the other shelves. So everything is shelves. So those shelves are IKEA shelves. I tried to come up with some kind of beautiful shelving system, but nothing is better than IKEA apparently, especially used IKEA. I was hunting those used IKEA shelves on Facebook Marketplace for about half a year and I finally found them, which I am very, very happy about. This is one of the shelves. I store a lot of different tools on this shelf. I also put some mortar and pestle, another bending wheel, just like very small things, packing materials, and just more crap over there. At the very top, this is my display. I think we're gonna have to come closer. This is some of the inspiration that I use. That's the guy, I don't think he has a name, but that's the guy that my husband made when he was studying 3D design. Unfortunately, his nose broke, but he serves as a head holder, and I think he's doing his job really well. Outside of that, you can see a little rock. This is one of my inspiration for the textures. I just really love the texture. Then there's a little bit of a tree bark that also serves as an inspiration for the texture. And then if we keep going, then there's like some very treacherous pieces that are very dear to my heart. This specific piece is a piece that's made by my art teacher. I was learning how to draw from when I was 5 years old. His name was Petrovich, and he was married to Irina. Irina was teaching me how to draw from when I was 5 years old until around 11. And then I went to an art school and studied how to draw from this guy. Recently, we visited the village where Irina still lives. Unfortunately, Petrovich passed away, but I realized that he actually made ceramics and I never even knew about it. He had the whole wall filled with pots and she gifted one of them to me, which I think is very symbolic because right now it stands next to another pot that's also very, very important for me. This is my first ever bud vase, my first ever piece I've ever made, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's basically almost the same as what I'm making right now, just a little bit not trimmed really well. It still stays there unglazed. I think it will still remain unglazed, but I think it's a wonderful idea to keep your very, very first piece. You're either going to be ashamed of it or very proud of it, like I am. As we keep going, you'll see bedrooms behind me. So literally this room is like right in the middle of my apartment. Right here, I just store the Hardy Becker board and everything else is right behind it. So basically all the flat crap that I can fit is going to go right there. Hardy Becker board, and here I think they should be paying me for advertising, is a very nice board. I used to dry all my clay on top of it. I used to recycle my clay on top of it, and also it serves as a really good background. But right now I switched to the black background that I'm also storing right here, all the other backgrounds from my pictures, some extra boxes, as well as some extra wood and just lots of wooden plates. There's also the plaster bed that I made recently for recycling. So everything that's flat just stays right there behind the Hardy Becker board. Then, if you can see, there's a lot of wild clay that I collected when I was in Virginia. There's also more wild clay, and then there's a big pile of the actual clay that I'm using. Everything is here. Most of it is black and dark because I like it, and a lot of recycled clay is also there. One of my favorite tools, GIF and Grip. I love it. I cannot really center without it. Well, I can, it just takes forever, and I do prefer to simplify my life as much as I can, and GIF and Grip is a perfect tool for exactly that. Next is more shelf. Let's go up. Some more shelves. This is already my stuff, so everything that I made. There's I don't think there's any particular order. I've been struggling to make things recently, and so like I'm super happy that I've made at least some stuff. So some of the vases that are from the old collection. So you might have seen this one on my Instagram. Oops, careful. And then I store some flowers for photo shoots, and then just like all of my other work is right here. So not enough shelves, not enough shelves. Even a week ago, I've had enough shelves, and now again, I don't have enough shelves. I sat once and made a bunch of stuff, and now I don't have any more shelves. Air filter. LA was on fires recently, so we had to get this gigantic 1 meter long air filter. So now it's my friend right next to the wheel. But outside of that, basically, I'm trying to store as much stuff as I can everywhere. There's some art books right there. There's more stuff like little ropes, more packaging material, just lots and lots of things. And then if I open this, you're gonna see all my mess because I basically stored all my mess right here. But I am gonna do it, and you can see how tightly packed my shelves are. So there's everything, literally everything you need. There are stilts and kiln shelves and cones and just little wires and lots of glazes, commercial glazes. I don't use them very often, but sometimes I do, and I'm still not brave enough to actually sell them and get rid of them, but here they are. The torch, just extra containers, so lots and lots of stuff, everything as much as I can. I just stuffed it in there and closed the doors so nobody can see it after that. I think that's it for this room. I'm gonna also show you where I glaze my stuff. I have a lot of glazing containers and where my kiln is. Everything is on the patio, so we're gonna keep going over there and we're gonna see how it works right there and where I mix my glazes. And welcome to the last part of my studio. This is a little corner of my patio where I mix my glazes and where my kiln is located. So let's go over this little area first. I'm gonna show you where I mix my glazes and where I store them, and then I'm gonna show you the most important part of equipment for every potter studio, my kiln. So as you can see, my storage for glazes comes from the very top, and then if we scroll down, those are little containers that I use to store my glaze powders. When I did it, I decided to actually store them really nice and well, and I marked every single container with the name. So there's a lot of oxides, a lot of stains, and a lot of other important ingredients. And as we come a little bit lower, I use those drawers to store all the important tools for my glazing. For example, glazing scales, spatulas, and everything else, sieves. And then below we will see more ingredients in the containers, and at the very bottom, those are the excess ingredients that just didn't fit into containers that I have a little bit more of, because I know that I'm going to be using more of them than some of the other containers like PPK or nepheline cyanide and all the other ingredients. I also have this plastic cover, although we do live in LA and we don't have that many rains normally, but it does rain sometimes, and I have to cover this whole area because otherwise it's just covered with water and dust, and it's just not good neither for the glazes nor for the kiln. And as we go a little bit more to the left, we're gonna see the area where my kiln is located. Here it is, my little body. It's very old Crest kiln. It has a kiln sitter, so that means that I have to put a parametric cone on the inside, and whenever this cone melts, this button just shuts the kiln off. And that's basically the only way to control this kiln. There's nothing electrical, I cannot program it, I cannot do anything else. There's literally just one button. I guess there's like this controller too. They control the speed with which it heats up, and that's literally all I can do. It does have a pyrometer, which is good. I don't think it's very reliable, but at least it shows that, okay, the kiln works. I move the plants away whenever I actually fire the kiln, and otherwise I move it also a little bit closer to the outside so it's not adjacent to anything, but otherwise it's surrounded by concrete blocks, so I feel pretty safe and secure. So this is my little friend, and it does increase the price of electricity quite a bit in my house. Finally, I wanted to share how much this whole thing cost me, and it cost me $0. Might sound surprising, but here's the story. I paid around $100 to get my very first pottery wheel and around $300 to get a very, very shitty kiln. Obviously, there was some clay expenses, some very basic tools. A lot of that I got for free from my community college across the street, where I went to take my first classes in ceramics. After some time, I decided that I'm ready for an upgrade. I'm ready to expand my ceramic career. I'm ready to become a professional. And I decided that I needed to look for a new pottery wheel. So I started scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, through OfferUp, and looking for a new pottery wheel until I found one ad which had a kiln for $1,500. I'm like, that's a very bad kiln for $1,500. But I kept scrolling the ad, and I saw that it's not only one kiln, it's two kilns, it's an amazing wheel, it's a give and grip, it's a strong arm tool, it's 60 different kinds of glazes, it's 300 pounds of clay that I could have recycled, it's probably 10 or 15 kiln shelves, a lot of kiln stilts, a lot of kiln furniture, probably about 100 or 200 different tools. I still haven't even tried all of them. So a potter in Las Vegas was moving out of state, and he needed to sell his whole studio, and he decided that since that's the way that he got his studio to begin with, he just inherited it from another potter, he would sell it exactly that way. So I immediately sent him a deposit. I decided that's my chance, and next day I rented a pickup truck, I sat in a pickup truck, and I went right to Vegas. We loaded everything into a pickup truck, we brought it here, and then it was a very long process of kind of trying to arrange this whole pile of literally everything you can possibly need for a pottery studio. So that was $1,500. But then I sold the two kilns that I didn't need because I already had a kiln, and then I also sold some glazes, and I was probably in a profit of $200. Of course, I hope that this potter doesn't watch this video and doesn't know about it, but I mean, I think he probably would have expected that I would get rid of the things I don't need. So I got literally almost everything that you see here for free, including the slab roller right there and this whole studio. So free studios exist, but you do need to scroll Facebook Marketplace and manifest. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, otherwise I'm gonna still have 2 subscribers. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.